What's up, y'all? I'm Dre Moore from More Than a Dad. For y'all guys out there that's trying to get y'all beards looking right, I came across some new products from Grizzled Teddy Company. I got 2 beard oils right here, 2 different scents. One a blue scent, one a original scent. They both smell amazing. They come in these little cool baby-proof bottles so you could get them. You know what I'm saying? We more than a dad. So this is effective. Keep your kids out your beard oil. He also got combs, 2 different sizes. The wide tooth, got the thin tooth, so we don't discriminate against the little beards. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's beard can't be like mine. So all my dads out there, I'm gonna need y'all to go support Grizzled Teddy Company. Groom your heart, groom your body, groom your beard. Stay well. Check out Grizzled Teddy Company beard oil.
More than more than that.
Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Dre Moore. I got my guy, Lou Mobley, here with me.
What's good?
And today we have a very special guest, entrepreneur, aspiring father, somebody that Lou has known for a really long time. We all go back, IUP?
Yep.
Yeah.
IUP days, Donovan of the Grizzled Teddy Company.
What's going on, everybody?
We want to shout out Norfolk, Virginia. We seen you in the downloads. The support has been unbelievable.
I've been in Norfolk before.
You did?
Yeah, my sister used to live there.
It's not that far from Virginia Beach and all that.
Yeah.
Never been. Now I gotta go.
There you go. And we got to plan a tour. That might be a tour city.
There you go.
Fact.
Fast 5 for Donovan.
I'm nervous.
Listen, it's crazy. I don't know much about you, so this is like really all over the place. I try to be like, urban, but like educated. Like I was just all over.
Hit me and we're gonna see how well I do.
Multifaceted.
Okay, start off generic. Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie.
Biggie.
East Coast
All right.
bias.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. 200,000 in cash or an 850 credit score. Educated.
I could do a lot with 200,000 in cash. I'm gonna take the cash.
All right. Would you be gifted a condo to Airbnb or have your student loan debt wiped completely free?
Student loans got to be away.
You got a lot.
Yeah, I got 82 in counting. They gotta go.
Okay.
You gotta
Okay.
You
Would
heard
you?
him, Joe.
Would you listen, I'm at 104.
Yeah.
Tell Joe to help you out.
If you're watching this episode, please help us. We need you.
Would you rather be a homeowner or a business owner?
I'm both right now, but if I gotta choose, homeowner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pop-up shop or online store?
Online store.
Okay.
Online store.
Can you give me context on why you?
Well, I
chose
do
it?
both, right? So I do pop-up shops at retail locations. I go to farms. Like, I sell my beard oil everywhere, right? But I got to physically be there for that. And I'm realizing how much my time is worth to me now. So, like, if I'm doing something, I got to really want to be there.
Right.
Online store, I still got to fulfill the orders, but I don't got to be standing there going, hey, would you like to smell something wonderful? It's a
Right.
different vibe.
We normally ask how's dad life, right? So
Can't ask that today.
we're gonna just ask how's life.
Life's good, man. I'm here. Like, and I know that you probably have had people have answered in that way before, but like, I really respect y'all. Like, I'm a super fan for real.
We appreciate it.
And I just love what y'all doing, especially the episode recently. If y'all didn't watch it, episode on your mission.
Yeah.
And I love that y'all trying to build a community for fathers, for which I want to be one day. And so I'm doing good because I'm on one of my favorite podcasts today.
Oh, that's fire.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
But since you're not a dad yet, let's talk about what your life was like with your dad. So what was your relationship like with your father growing up?
My relationship with my father was cool, man. He was our everything. Like, my moms did a lot too, right? I had both my parents up until 10 years old. And so dad was superstar, man. He was coaching sports teams. I wasn't that good, so he had to love me to coach me because I wasn't that good. Anybody that knows me is watching this is like, yeah, he can't dribble to save his life. But Pops was coaching me. He was cooking dinners. He's a culinary grad, so he was teaching me about quality food, stuff like that. My parents got separated when I was 10, and they were apart essentially from like 4th grade, 5th grade through 10th. And so during that time, I learned more about him and learned to appreciate him even more, because even though he wasn't in the crib, he was coming over with a pan, some olive oil, some eggs, some cheese, and he would scramble eggs for us in the morning. He knew moms wasn't getting up and moving with that type of efficiency. So he would cook, walk us to the bus, and then take Scepter right back to his apartment, wash that stuff, and do it all over again every day. Eventually, they started to vibe a little more. He would come over every night when he wasn't working. We watching Jeopardy together. And so when my parents were separated, Dad was Dad of the Year every year, right? 10th grade, they get back together. My parents are still together to this day. So shout out to enduring marriages, because it was looking like they was about to KO for a minute. And so my dad was my everything, man. Growing up.
Dope. That's hard.
Even with that being said, that was a beautiful story. What do you think like the biggest lessons you took away from your dad growing up?
Man, so one of them he actually reminded me of yesterday. So the fact that to be a good father means sometimes you got to sacrifice not doing some of the things you want to do, moving some of the ways you want to move. It cost him a lot, not just monetarily, but in opportunities he had to pass up to be the type of father I knew him to be. And so I think, you know, especially given your target audience, people got to know, like, being a father is expensive. Right. Like, I know y'all talked about the monetary stuff in the past and the time commitment, but it's also the things you can't do, the things you got to say no to be able to say yes to your kids. And maybe my dad said no to things that y'all won't have to, right? Like maybe, you know, as you're co-parenting or parenting, you got a partner, another parent that allows you to maybe move in ways that you want to. But he had to say no to some stuff. And maybe he got some regrets, but ultimately he says, me and my brother were his investment. And he don't regret that.
You know what's interesting about that is like, I basically wanted to be an athletic director. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be either an offensive line coach at the college level or athletic director. It kind of changed because it was like I had the mind to like lead a whole department versus just be a position coach, right? So it changed. The vision grew, but it's still with the same goal to impact young athletes and, you know, grow a program. Yeah. And as I got into athletics, it was like I didn't like the time away from home. I didn't like that, like, athletics is basically entertainment, that all the games were in the evenings or on the weekends. Right. And once I had my son, it was like I done spent 7 years of education. We just said $104,000 in student loan debt, and I wanted to be a person and was probably well on my way to being a person, but it didn't match the father I wanted to be. Yeah. So imagine being that invested in that field and being like, I just want a 9 to 5. You remember I used to call you like, I just want a 9 to 5. Yeah. And I'm getting chills talking about it. It was like I worked so hard and I thought I wanted to be this person as an individual, but it didn't match the person I needed to be for a family. Yeah. Right. You know, and like what really was like the kicker was like, I remember one day being at Rutgers Camden working in athletics, and I was at a soccer game. It's a Division III soccer game. It doesn't change the world. It doesn't matter to anybody that don't go to the school. Yeah, yeah. And I'm missing like my son like taking first steps. Yeah. I'm missing him put first words together and stuff like that.
I can see why you're getting chills. Yeah. That means something.
So, yeah, that was heavy,
means something. It's funny too, right? This is an aside. So I'm an admissions counselor. Whenever I'm not doing like business stuff, I work for a university. They're not paying y'all, so we're not gonna shout them out. But so I work for this university, and I'm talking to students all the time. And one of them says to me recently she wants to study business, and I ask her why. I like asking why a lot. Mm-hmm. And so she tells me because I want to be a boss, and I don't want to answer to nobody. Now, y'all know running a podcast, you still answer to people. Being a father, you still answer. There's no role in life where you don't answer to nobody. Like it's very rare. If it is, you a dictator. That's usually when you don't got answer. When you got military, right? So it's like you're not really going to rock the way you're trying to rock. And she said, "Well, if that's the case, tell me what major on your board, your display, gonna help me make the most money." And I said, "I can answer that question, but only 17-year-old you want to hear the answer, because 33-year-old you gonna say, how could I spend the most time with my family?" And so your priorities gonna shift. So young Lou wanted to do that, and that was real. And it's not like you should begrudge it or look down on it. It's just that was young Lou's dream. Right. Young Dre got a dream. Young D got a dream. But when you get older, you realize, man, being around my kids, which I'm hoping to get to where y'all at, that means everything.
Yeah,
you know?
Kids definitely change your life, change your perspective, the way you look at
you
look at all of that.
For real.
It sounded like your childhood was pretty dope. But if it was one thing you feel like you could have improved upon that you feel like they could have improved upon? What would it be?
Man, something my parents could have improved upon.
I could go while you think it if you would.
Yeah, go ahead and go because they might listen to this, John. So I gotta make sure I answer this right.
I feel like my dad could have been more understanding. My dad was like a great person, but very close minded with a lot of things. Like I don't know if I told you on her. Like my dad wouldn't like. He never showed affection. He never knew how to show affection. So like, I used to like kiss my dad on his face and stuff. He used to hate it. Like
Yeah.
Like he used to do like, man, I'm not gay. Like all this other stuff. Like he would trip out about it. But it was like those things like. I would say like created barriers. Like it made it easier for me to like talk to my mom about certain things. Even though like I'm not gay or opposed to anything in that way. It just was like I could see that you're closed minded about certain things. So I just rolled that into everything as a whole. So like it became difficult, for me to like talk to him about certain things or be like transparent about certain things, which was easier with my mom. So like that's for me what I would say.
Well, and you want your parents to be a safe space, right? Like you're hoping as men to be safe spaces for your kids. And I would say like my dad probably could have grown in that area too. That's probably the only thing I could knock him on. And it wasn't to the point where like I couldn't kiss him, but there's probably certain topics back then and really even now that probably I reserve for other people.
Right.
What I realized over time though, and how I've learned to extend grace to my father, extend grace to my mother, extend grace to anybody who helped to support me, is realizing that my parents can't be my everything. They strive to be,
right,
but they can't be my everything. So when I need to get an emotional release, like even now, I'm talking to my wife, but then when I can't give it all to her, I'm talking to a therapist. When I can't give it all to them, I got mentors. So I'm kind of on my NASCAR tip. I don't even like racing, but I'm on my NASCAR tip where I got to have a pit crew. And I think any healthy, well-adjusted individual needs to have a pit crew. But you don't know that at 12 years old when you in the crib, right? So dad, mom, they got to be your everything. And so, there was times where maybe I had more emotion than what dad necessarily could handle. But he did his best given what tools he was given by his pops, right? So it's like, it was one of those things where he could have did it better. But damn, he did so many things so well that I'm not going to begrudge him on it,
Man, as the respectable man you are... Have you like patterned like the men and the father you aspire to be after your father?
In large ways, yeah. I mean, like his work ethic and how he prioritized his family, for sure. Like I'm looking at possibly doing a career change now because of the fact that I want to spend more time with my wife. Like we don't even have kids in the mix yet, but I want to spend more time with her. I'm happy to impact the next generation, help them to find a good education, but I'm just realizing as much as I enjoy that, I enjoy being with wifey more. And I learned that from my pops, because even when moms and him weren't really vibing, right, he was always so much about family that's one of the reasons why they reconciled. Because I remember my mom saying, nobody will ever love my kids, my boys, the way he does. And that was one of the things that helped her to fall back in love with him as they were seeking to reconcile. So I want that to be something you say about me, right? Like no one will ever love my kids. No one will ever love people the way Donovan loves people. I definitely pattern that off of my pops.
That's a fact. Since we there in patterns, like we all had to find ourselves. So like, what do you think is like the biggest difference between you and your father?
Man, probably the emotions.
The emotions.
Real rap, yeah, probably the emotions. Like when we go to, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this, right? If you ever do like premarital counseling or just couples counseling in general, they usually pull out the book and it's like, women are like this, men are like this. I always match the woman's list. Always. And I be feeling some kind of way. Like the first time it happened, I'm like, hey, get your instrument out my face. Stop talking to me like I'm some girl, But I react to things like traditionally what we would associate a woman with. Still very much a man. And so like as we get into more of like Grizzled Teddy and branded stuff, I use that to inform my brand. Like it's called Grizzled Teddy for a reason, and I'll explain that later. But I'm just more emotional and my wife is more stoic. Right. So if you want to say like what's the key difference between me and my pops, like I cried during specials that ESPN be doing, like the Jones where like the young bull die and like they play with 10 players on the field, right? Like the young bull is the star linebacker, he died in a car accident and they play the playoffs with 10 players. I be balling. Like My pops wouldn't even register that. That wouldn't even be like, oh,
even.
they dumb. They need to find another player. So we different. Like, I'm more emotional.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man.
You married, I'm married. I want to get into some of that. You
Yeah.
know, let's talk about your wife, you know, how you met her, how long y'all been married.
Yeah, so we actually met on campus, Lou. We met junior year of college. And what's crazy is, and she already know this, so I'm not going to get in trouble, I was checking for another person in our mutual friend group. Right? Like, I was checking for a whole different person, right? And said person ended up liking somebody else, ended up liking a friend of mine. So I'm looking at my wounds. I had not been dating for a little bit because I was trying to find the right person. Like, my next person, I wanted to be my last person. I was done with all the dating and stuff. I did everything I needed to do. And so, go ahead.
How old was you at this time?
At this time, jeez, 21, maybe 22.
You already had this forward at 22.
Nah, yeah,
I
like
already had
21,
this forward
22.
mindset.
Well, not because, like, here's the thing. Like, now you're about to give me the spill tea and stuff.
Nah,
So,
yeah,
like,
spill tea.
the relationship I had just before that wasn't really a relationship. I was starting to settle for the person. Like, I was starting to feel them.
Okay.
They was just trying to have an experience with a black dude. So I had a wild, like, that's the story for off camera, but I had a wild experience with, you know, a person, and that made me go, yo, women out here just as wild as men. And, like, y'all probably know that because y'all were dating a little later into this than I was. I'm a little older than y'all. But, yeah, like, once I got stung by her, I was like, yo, I need to chill out. Like, I got to find me somebody I got to find a wife, you know? And so I'm in this friend group. Like I said, my primary target was not happening. And oddly enough, we just sitting at a round table. You remember Lou and Foster's? They had these giant round tables, 8 to 10 people at a table. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to her, but it's not on some, like, game stuff. We just talking. And I say, yo, I can't hear you. Now, y'all see I got these little ears, right? So I legit couldn't hear. And I'm like, yo, could we want to go to another table? And in hindsight, that sounded smooth as hell. I was like, yo, I can't hear you. You want to go sit over there? So but it wasn't on that tip. Like, I genuinely just couldn't hear her, right? And so we had this conversation, and that was one of the first. And then I ended up having this big opportunity. I was asked to speak at the groundbreaking of a new residence hall, Wallwork Suites, when that was opening. And I was the only student speaker. All the people at the table were like, yo, we coming. Nobody show. She forget the show even.
Right.
But an hour after the presentation or an hour after the speech, I'm sitting in my room just, like, letting it soak in. Like, yo, you was speaking at an event with a gold shovel. Like, you did something today. And she called me. She said, I'm so sorry. Tell me everything. I want every detail. And me as a talker, when somebody say, yo, I'm willing to listen, yo, I think I fell in love off of that, bro. Like, it was like, you trying to listen to me? So we've been rocking ever since, man.
That's love.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What you think has been, like, the most difficult part of being married?
Man, so we get into the kids. That's the most difficult part. When we first got married, wifey didn't want kids at all. Still doesn't. But she don't want them biologically, specifically.
Okay.
She just never wanted them, right? And we tried to unpack that a little bit more. And part of it that we think it is, like, this is where I'm at with it. When she was a kid, she felt a calling to foster and adopt. Like, she felt like, who's going to take care of all these kids that don't got mommies and daddies? She even said it to her parents because her dad was a pastor. And so they would do all of this outreach ministry in different neighborhoods that were, you know, under-supported. And they helping all these kids that don't got parents. So she's like, yo, I don't want to have kids because if I have them, who going to take care of all these other kids? Right. So she was on that tip from jump. Well, we in premarital counseling, pastor go, how many kids y'all want? And I've been hearing her say 0, but I'm thinking she playing, right? So she says 0 during premarital counseling. I'm like, I want 11. I want 11. I'm going to feed 5 of them more. I'm going to have my own football team. She like, all right, you joking. I'm thinking she joking. Bro, we 8 years in. She still ain't want kids. I thought I was going to change her mind. She's like, no, I genuinely want to foster or adopt. Right. And so we hit a rough patch and probably could have been, like, out for the count because of that. Because that caused a lot of other issues, right? And then finally my frat brother hit me up one time and he said, yo, what's the calling on a father's life? Like, what's a father supposed to be for his kids? And I answered his question. And he said, well, tell me what would be different about being a foster dad or being an adoptive father. And I really couldn't think of a difference other than the origin of the kid. And as soon as he said it, and I'm a man of faith, so you're going to hear me say this a lot, it was like the Lord removed the scale from my heart. My heart was hardened towards any of that. I thought fostering or adoption was for people who couldn't physically have kids, not for people who could but choose not to. I'm like, what you mean? Like, we could do this. We got the parts. Like, let's do the kid thing, right? And so I was feeling some kind of way. But when he said that, those were the words I needed to hear. And then the resentment went away. Then it was, now we got to get a house. We got to get our finances right so that if we do this, we're bringing the kid into a better situation. Because we were living in an apartment. Well, last October, we bought our crib. We both got jobs. So as far as I'm concerned, we on camera, so I'm a little hesitant to say it. But I'm hoping next year, 2023, I could be rocking more than the dad stuff. And not just because I like y'all, but because I'm my pops. So that's the move.
We got a little something for you two over here.
I respect it. I respect it.
Absolutely.
Or as Dre says, facts.
Do you have any like strategies for like getting through rough patches in marriage? Like we need a playbook, man.
Yeah. So I think what's important, you need to have people who have been married longer than you that you respect. And as a B clause to that, they got to be able to check you. They can't be asking permission to check you. They got to have prior approval that if y'all not right and you the run this wrong, they check you.
Right.
So for us, like, shout out to the Briscoes, Roger and Cheryl Briscoe. I think I had asked you about them before, Lou. I don't know if you met them.
Right.
But like the Briscoes are my couple, right? And there's other couples too, but they're one that come to mind. And so when we were hitting our rough patch, I was talking to Doc. I was in his office. I was in his living room like, yo, this is what the issue is. And he didn't have to ask permission to tell me when I was out of pocket.
Right.
It didn't feel good getting told I was out of pocket. But if you don't have that, what you end up doing is what we do with politics now. Cats be in echo chambers, hearing themselves speak. And the more they hear it, the more they think they right. We do that in marriage too.
Right.
And so if you don't got somebody that's outside of the marriage who loves both of y'all equally, who's not going to take sides, who can hold you accountable, you going to be in an echo chamber. And every time you and your wife beefing, you right because you just keep hearing yourself. You telling your boys, they're like, oh, you right. She out of pocket. Better yet, you should leave her. Better yet, we can go out tonight. So I don't allow for nobody who's not Team Daniel to be around us. Right. You got to love both of us so you're not taking sides. So when I'm wrong, you tell me. When she wrong, you tell her, and we respect it, and then we go back to the drawing board. So that's one of the pieces of advice, if I could get anything.
Absolutely. Y'all was doing counseling. What do you think? Do you think there was any strategies that y'all took from counseling that y'all implemented into your relationship, and like how useful do you feel like that?
You know what's funny? Counseling itself didn't help. And I'm not like, because you're gonna be like, yo, he sound crazy. Like he just said counseling is part of your pit crew. Counseling actually didn't help. The drives to counseling helped. Because our counselor was in Greensburg. We live in Indiana, so it's like a 47-minute drive one way.
Right.
Well, you gotta talk to the people you beefing with on the way to counseling. Like, what we're not gonna talk until we get to him.
No, to me, the drive back would be worse. Like, damn, you really gonna tell him all that?
No. You would think, but like we would be vibing on the way to counseling. So we would walk into the session and we laughing, and he like, but I thought y'all was about to get a divorce. He was like, what's up with y'all? He was like, y'all the happiest couple that's telling me y'all having problems ever. Because would you go for 47? I can't stay quiet that long. So for 47 minutes, it's like, yo, how was your day? We not vibing, but how was your day? I hope you had a good day. And then she answered, and then we would talk and we would laugh. The name of our business, we came up with on the way to a marriage counseling session.
So
like we was creating.
How often were y'all going? How often?
When we were on the ropes, it was weekly. But what they'll do is it was weekly, and then eventually it became, well, at first it was twice a week. Then it was weekly. Then it became monthly. By the time he was like every quarter, COVID hit.
Right.
But we had got so many tools up until that point that we were like, yeah, we good. We're not trying to go there during COVID. And we've been good ever since. So we still talk to people, but like, this is not our therapist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
You talked a little bit about, hoping to adopt or foster.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Have you got any like pushback from like friends or family, like naysayers about it?
Man, a lot. Because we don't do that in this community, Lou. You know that. How many people you know foster? I mean, y'all have interviewed people. I know that.
I did.
I know people. I
know
know enough. Like probably like 3 or 4.
Okay, so you might be the exception to the rule.
His what am I looking for? His friend group is so much larger.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to school, and the people that are around me aren't that large. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, it's not too many. And like I think as a rule of thumb, like Black and brown community, we scared of stuff we never experienced before.
Yep.
And there's so many things we haven't experienced before.
Right.
So like I can't think of anybody that's done it. And what I was hearing from people too was, yo, the way we do it is when, I don't know, Smokey or whatever your cousin's name is, start messing up and somebody got to take care of his kids. Like we do it internal, like we do it in house.
Absolutely.
There's no paperwork. We just, grandma takes over.
Right.
Because your brother messing up, your sister messing up.
That's true.
So that's what they're used to. And so for me to go through the formal route, I think kind of scares people. The other objection is people go, well, you don't know what you're going to get because it's not your genetics. But I'm going to ask y'all because y'all fathers. Did y'all know what y'all was going to get with y'all kids? Because I'm sure your kids surprise you every day.
You know what's interesting? Like on some of the paperwork, even when she's pregnant, they ask about like family medical history.
Mm-hmm.
And even knowing my parents, I still don't know.
Fully in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your pops probably didn't tell you. Your mom's probably didn't tell you everything. That's
It's
what
not
the
common
generation
conversation.
did. Yeah, like I got gallstones. I get them all the time. Like that's not a conversation at dinner. Yeah, so just knowing like, yeah, your kids will look like you in a way that I'm never going to experience. And that's a little bit of a hurt piece, right?
Right.
But at the same token, your kids still surprise you every day.
That's true.
Like they're becoming their own person while under your tutelage. And at some point, they're going to be somebody you don't even recognize. Like you're going to see some of your handprint on there. But I think everybody looks a little bit different than their parents. Again, case in point, I be crying during ESPN,
Right.
content, right? So I just got to accept the fact that maybe I won't have as much of a handprint on them. But I'm cool with that because I would rather you have the life that you can't have right now than not. Plus, I see it like ministry. So like everybody else's concerns, that's par for the course when you minister, right? Like you helping people that won't necessarily appreciate it. You helping people that need it the most, that's going to resist you. So I might get a rough one, or I might get a kid that respects me, but all the same,
Right.
we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Just to piggyback that, like I'm in a case where like I have technically a stepson, right, that I didn't genetically make.
Yeah.
So there's no way for him to be like, yo, he looks like Lou, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our neighbor across the street was like, I really think your son look like you. All I say is to say that is the most rewarding part about them is watching them become their own people.
Mm-hmm.
And like things that you do rub off on them. Now it's flattering when people be like, yo, Osa got your lips and you like it's flattering. Like it's a little icing on the top. But you know what's even better? Like, yo, your daughter's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or she may not could talk, but she know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, that's more rewarding as a parent than she looks like you.
Yeah.
You know, so
Because it goes more than that. Like Manny having your character, bro. Like that's gonna be 1,000 times bigger than he looked like you. Yeah, like I want Manny to have your character. I want him to. I remember you playing football. I want him to have your work ethic.
Right.
I want him to have your perseverance, and I hope you want him to have those things too.
Absolutely.
That's more than a look. So if the kids have any of my character,
Then we won.
I won.
Yeah.
They won.
Absolutely. Is it a certain age kid that you're interested in?
Man,
Is
I
that
don't
age
even
group?
know. Like, she not here, so I'm not about to get her official age. I know she don't want nobody that needs to be breastfed because naturally that would provide like some problems. So I would assume, and I think she said potty train. But again, you don't know what you're getting, right? Like a kid could have a delay, kid could have some type of trauma.
Right.
But I would say probably like 3.
3.
If you get the pin me down, like 3,
above
right?
4.
4.
Okay.
4.
Like Manny 4. Manny might still
Every once in a while, he surprise you.
Ashton 5, he be he peed on me last night.
Oh,
Pause.
damn.
Like, R. Kelly peed, but like
Yeah, that's gonna make the bloopers. That's gonna make the reel. We're gonna make a reel on that alone. He did what to you?
This is gonna make an actual episode. He was asleep in the bed and he wet the bed and
way better presentation.
yeah, I was there.
Oh man.
So I woke up and I had I'm like, hey, when I'm wet, I'm sweating. So you put your hand in it and then you like put it to your nose, like, oh no, that ain't sweat.
That ain't sweat.
That ain't sweat at all.
Man,
But yeah, he's 5.
that's funny. But you love your kid. We go end with that. But you got peed on, but you love your kid.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
Where are we at in the adoption process? And if you haven't started yet, can you explain it for our audience?
Yeah, no, so I haven't started yet. But I know somebody at my church, oddly enough, who has fostered several children and has adopted 2 of them. And so she's running game and coaching me on, what the process looks like. Believe it or not, the need is so great that while they got to like check your house, I understand they got to like check to make sure you got running water. They got to check to make sure that you got plugs for like your outlets. They got to make sure that you can secure your fridge, stuff like that, depending on what the kid's situation is, how old they are, gates on the steps. Outside of them checking your crib and doing, what is it? Like a clearance for like sexual deviancy, like looking
Like
for
a
stuff like
background
that,
check,
like a background check. Yeah. So outside of them doing those things, it's really not that much red tape with fostering because the need is so great.
Okay.
And where I live in particular, and this person was telling me this, I would probably be the only, or we would probably be the only black family fostering, like in the county, not like in town, in the county. So essentially, if there's any black children, they're likely to come to us if we were to go this route.
Okay.
Just off rip, because they're like, hey, it's a better placement as opposed to what they call cross-racial adoption or cross-racial fostering, where like a white family is adopting an Asian kid or a black kid. Because that adds a whole nother wrinkle, a whole nother challenge.
Okay.
The kid already needs stuff, and you can't identify with them culturally or ethnically. And so essentially, if we put our name in the ring, we're going to have a kid like a week later. Like, it's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's some things that you plan to instill in the children?
Oh, y'all asking good questions. And I know this because I watched the episode, so I should have knew y'all was going to do this to me. So some of the things, work ethic for sure.
Okay.
Work ethic. But I think creativity also. Like, not just working for the sake of working, but being creative, being a problem solver. I would love to be able to say that I helped them with that. And I think those kind of work hand in hand. If you're being creative and you can solve a problem, that's lit. Like, I think that's the best type of creativity when you're making somebody's life better.
Right.
For y'all created a platform for dads that there's other podcasts that do dad stuff, but it's nothing like more than a dad.
Appreciate it.
So y'all solved the problem, right? And you're being creative at the same time. So I would hope that I can give them those things because I love solving people's problems through creativity.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Let's talk about some of the ugly stuff in parenting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Hit me.
yeah.
So, like, I don't-
scare me straight. Go
I don't
ahead.
know if you had this conversation with wifey yet,
Yeah.
but like once you adopted or have fostered children, how do you plan to like discipline your kids? And are y'all aligned on that?
Yeah, I think we are, man. The thing is with fostering, there's certain tools you can't use anyway.
Right.
Can't be spanking no kids when they're not yours. Like the state have a problem with that. So you lose that whole tool, even though that's what I grew up on.
Right, and
Like-
that's why we was thinking to ask that because
Yeah.
because you never, just like you said, you never know the kid could be difficult.
Correct.
And that's probably like one of the things that's higher up on the list of where we go to just because of how we was raised. But and that same token too, even though it's already taken away from you, like if you was to like get a spanking from like your parents, I don't think the way you look at them changes because like that's your parent. Y'all share this connection that you can't take away.
Absolutely.
And the kid that's like doesn't have your same genetics or doesn't come from your blood, like a spanking would be, it might be like a death sentence. Like I'll never look at you in a certain way.
Well, and I would argue it probably could happen even with biological if the spanking is done in the wrong posture.
Or excessive.
Yeah,
That's
because
true.
like what my homie used to do was, and he still does it, when he thinks like, yo, I need to put this hand to this cheek because you acting up, right? When he's getting in that mood, he'll wait to discipline the kids until he's calm. So he'll send them away. And then later when he's calm, he explains why he's about to do it, which probably trips the kid out. But he explains like, yo, you were misbehaving in the store. This is da-da-da. This is why we're addressing this now. I want you to know I love you. And then he delivers the spanking. It's a longer process. But that kid's never going to feel like it's hateful or spiteful or out of vengeance because he makes it very clear this is what it is. So I don't got that tool, but man, I'll talk you to death. So I wish you do. I wish you do leave out for some party and see what kind of lecture you gonna want me to beat you. 'Cause it's gonna be 3 hours in, and we're gonna read like half of Leviticus, and you can be like, man, this hit me already. Please ground me.
I was about to say that he's walking in with a Bible, man. Old Testament, New Testament.
Listen, I preach a whole sermon. It'd be my longest sermon ever.
Listen, go right through them commandments again.
Preachers be on some like, I'm not gonna be before you long. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be about to be before you really long.
Yo,
We about to have a conversation.
we could talk forever.
Yeah, man.
What do you think would be the biggest change that y'all go through after y'all adopt?
Man, probably the fact that I'm really involved on campus. I'm a campus advisor for 2 groups, and I'm really proud of it. Like, I won't shout out the campus, but I'll shout out the group.
All right.
So I'm a campus advisor for something called the Latino Student Organization. I don't know if it looked like it for your vantage point, but I'm half Puerto Rican. My mother's from Humacao, Puerto Rico. My father's from Laventille, Trinidad. So I'm Trinidad is what I tell people, right? Or Afro-Latino. And so I love working with this group.
Learn something every day.
Yeah, look, Lou probably didn't know that, right?
I didn't.
Yeah. So I love working with the Lasso group because I feel like I understand more of me as I work with them. Like, they're not necessarily from Puerto Rico, but I'm learning about Mexico and Chile and Ecuador and Costa Rica by just vibing with these students. I love it. And I also work with a group called Ubora Men of IUP. Swahili word, it means equality and the excellence. And we help these young men, black and brown men, to build efficacy and confidence and character. Unfortunately, with having children, you got to lose something. And so I could see maybe my involvement at that shifting, where maybe I'm not an advisor, but maybe I'm coming like every other month talking with them. And so like my role might change with some of the things I'm involved with. Probably business going to have to shift a little bit. I can't be at farm shows every week selling beard oil, but my kid got a soccer game. I ain't missing those.
That's a fact.
And so I'm going to have to learn how to make money without me being there. Y'all maybe could teach me about that, right? Like maybe I got to launch a pod, but I got to find a way to make bread without having to physically be somewhere else so I could be totally present with my kids. So that's going to be the shift.
Absolutely.
We get into the part which you came here to get into.
Yeah.
You know, we partnered with Grizzled Teddy Company for Father's Week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want you to speak a little bit about how you started your company and what do you have to offer to people.
Yeah, no, I would love to talk about that. So Grizzled Teddy Company was birthed off of a barbershop appointment, believe it or not. I went to a barbershop in Allentown. I was on the road for my job, and my hairline was busted again. I don't know why I be letting myself get busted. But this dude cut my hair, and as he's cutting it, he says, yo, you got split
Hold
ends.
up. I got to stop you.
Go ahead.
You go into like random barbershops and get your hair cut?
No. He came by referral. It wasn't random. It wasn't random. It was somebody I really trust. Yeah, no.
His hairline gets more busted.
Listen, no. So I'm an admissions counselor, right? So I recruit 9 counties. So I made sure to talk to peoples I knew who were living there, and I said, who's the barber?
Okay.
So I got a barber in like 4 or 5 different. I feel like I'm Jay-Z a little bit in that like I got a barber here, barber there. I don't have somebody traveling with me yet. That's when you like really make it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know where to go in Allentown. I know where to go in Philly. So shouts out to Barbers on Broad. But like I know where to go in Philly. I know where to go in Allentown. So I was in Allentown for this barbershop. He told me I got split ends in my beard. I didn't know men could get split ends.
Right.
Did y'all? Like
No.
Okay. So split ends is like basically when your hair follicle unravels.
Right.
And then it gets caught on other hair follicles and it causes them to unravel. And so eventually it keeps unraveling down to the root and damages your hair. And you could have hair loss from that if it's untouched. So he's like, yo, your beard needs touched up. I'm like, all right, cool. What's that gonna cost? Like, and when was time? But he washed my beard. He conditioned my beard. He hot toweled my beard with essential oils dripped on it. I was feeling like I was in a spa. He got a long neck steamer, poured water in it, steamed my beard while I had the hot towel. He shaped it with a pick. He blow dried that joint. He sheared it. I was in there like an hour.
Was going crazy.
This was an experience. He went ham on my beard. Like it was crazy, right? And when I walked out, all this hair was on the ground, but my beard was larger. I'm like, what's going on? He had got hairs that was, 'cause I got a tight curl pattern. He got hairs that was in there to come out. Like he had my skin looking good. It was perfect. So I tell one of my homies about it a few weeks later at a housewarming party. Me and them are sitting there talking, and he goes, "I thought only women cared about their appearance like that."
Mm.
So now I'm at a crossroads because I'm like, you insulting me. Because if only women get down with that, and I just told you I got down with that, then what you trying to say? Like this is another person saying I'm on the women's list. Yeah, like
Bro, he put the knife in your insecurity, like.
Yeah, listen, and I'm only 5'6", so I got a mad Napoleon complex. I'm like, hey, what'd you say? So I just hit him with the question, do you really believe that, or did somebody teach you that? So he spoke about his dad. He spoke about what Pops taught him.
Right.
And how Pops never got his hair cut. And so he only get it twice a year. And I won't say too much more about him because I don't want to out him, but like his wife is a cosmetologist and he only get his hair cut twice a year. So imagine how she feel. right? But that's because of how he understood masculinity. So the barber from Allentown tells me, yo, you need to use beard oil more often. So I'm already kind of thinking about maybe I can make my own. And when he says that, I said, okay, how could I pair healthy masculinity with like skincare and hair care and whatnot? And so Grizzled Teddy Company was born because essentially, if you break into my crib, my wife doesn't want any guns. So I gotta be real creative as to how I get you up out my crib, right? Because I don't got the quick way, right? So there's a tree branch under my bed. I'm not gonna tell you what side, but it's under my bed because I'm Caribbean, right? So we just got tree branches in our house apparently, and so I got a tree branch that's like a baseball bat that if you come in my crib, I'm about to get grizzled, right? But the same token, when me and wifey are watching This Is Us back when that was still on TV, I was crying every episode. Randall was having these life-changing experiences. I was crying right with Bull, right? And I was more Teddy. But the whole time, I'm a man.
Right.
Like, whether I express emotion or whether I'm about to fight you, I'm a man the whole time. And so Grizzled Teddy Company is about encouraging and equipping men to groom their hearts, their minds, and their beards. Same way he wanted me to be intentional about my beard, imagine if I could be intentional about my emotional and mental health. I might be a better husband and eventually a better father.
That's dope. He bodied that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
He bodied that. What do you think was your biggest challenge getting started?
Well, biggest thing is just I don't know too many people who make a cosmetic product, right? And so I had to like look into that because you about to mess up somebody's skin if you put the wrong formulation out there.
Absolutely.
What I found out though was the FDA actually doesn't regulate it. So when y'all be putting stuff on your bodies, like you really gotta like know the company that's making it or know the ingredients because it's not actually regulated. Like a lot of stuff isn't lab tested. The only time it has to be is if you make a promise. Like if you make a guarantee that the product does X, then you have to get it lab tested, especially if it's like a medical claim.
Okay.
But if you don't make any medical claims on your stuff, you just selling a lotion or a lip balm, anybody could do that.
Right.
So there wasn't like somebody that I can go to teach me the game. And so I went to a lot of websites. I'm not going to nerd out too hard, but like I know why certain oils are more thick than others and why certain oils absorb in the skin better than others. It's talking about like fatty acids and stuff. So I looked into that. I met somebody that knew about doTERRA and essential oils. They taught me the game about how to blend oils. And so I got really signature scents and y'all will smell them off camera. But that was probably the hardest part is just like the product formulation part. Selling, man, my dad taught me how to sell stuff from rip. Like I learned about business in 6th grade. So selling was easy, but making a product that's unique, that works, that was the hard part.
No, do you have any advice for like young entrepreneurs since we're in the age of like entrepreneurs?
Yeah. So you can't do it because you just want to make money. Like you got to solve a problem.
That was mad simple.
Well, no, real rap. Like because I listen to a lot of podcasts too. Like if you want to just do it to make bread, you might take some L's at first. What you gonna quit once you take your first couple L's?
Right.
Absolutely.
But I was in it to solve problems. So when dude on the porch at that housewarming tells me only women care about their appearance, I'm like, yo, I'm always gonna be in business. Right now, I sell a product. Like right now, I sell a beard oil. But where we going next? I'm going to be speaking on college campuses. Campuses are going to pay me, and they have already, to speak about healthier masculinity. Because I want to solve a problem, like, yeah, I want to get paid, but because I want to solve a problem, that's what drives me. I want more men to be healthy. I want more men to be more than a dad, right? So I'm trying to partner with brands like yours. That's why we did the Father's Week collab, and if y'all go back on social media on either of our channels, you'll see how we collaborated. But, like, I connect with brands that are trying to solve problems. Y'all trying to solve problems for dads.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to solve problems for men. So that's what moves me. Now, if I can make bread doing it, well, praise God. I like money.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to start a business, tell me what problem you solving.
Right. Don't be in it for the money. 100% right. So what are some of the products y'all offer?
So, well, I guess we pull some of them out. But
show them on camera.
yeah, listen, we pull some of them out. But so we carry a beard oil. Right. And so the beard oil has as a base grapeseed and jojoba. So the reason why we chose those oils, they are I'm about to get nerdy now. They're on something called the comedogenic scale. All oils and butters. When you're putting sun on your skin, you should know this. Now it goes from 0 to 5. The higher the number, the more likely it's going to clog your pores. not necessarily a bad thing. You should just know it's meant to layer and to seal your skin. It has a certain purpose. The oils I choose don't seal, but instead they're easily absorbed, so that your skin's not greasy. So before I came in, your boy put on 10 drops, but I'm not shining on camera. The goal wasn't to shine. The goal was to nourish my skin.
Okay.
Now, if I take care of my skin, my hair grows better. The same way if you take care of the soil, a plant grows better. So that's the base of the oil. Now, as far as the scents are as weird as I am. And so, like, I mix what we call top, middle, and base notes.
Okay.
So when you think about smelling something, top notes like Beyonce, it's a soprano. It's loud. It hits you right away. You see it. Like, everybody see B, right? The middle note is more of an alto section, and the bass note is kind of like the people you kind of forget, but they lay the undertrack, right?
Right.
So I make my scents the same way. So this right here, the original, has grapefruit as the top note. You'll smell that first. Has lavender as the middle note and cedarwood as the base. And better yet, y'all might as well smell it. But what I have people do when they're at the table, I have them put a drop in their hand and then don't rub the other one. Just smell it in that one hand. So go ahead and press down. Got a child lock on it, Dre. Got to protect the kids. Got to protect the kids. Here, I'll open it up for you if you need help. All right, I'm going to help you out.
I'm a child.
Boom. There you go. So if you
opened
put a
that with
drop in
ease.
your hand and put a drop in Lou's hand, go ahead and smell it. And you don't need a lot. You know what I mean? Like I put a couple drops in on there, but like go ahead and
I
rub
like
your
the way
hand
that
in
smell.
there. Yeah, and so it's sweet, but it's floral. Like y'all smelling lavender, but men don't like lavender, right? Right? So I'm always trying to challenge convention because
He right at toxic masculinity, yo.
Yeah,
I don't know
'cause
how
it's
you
like-
ever was in our locker room, bro.
no, listen, it was hard. It was hard. We're not even gonna talk about Coach Camp. It was hard. It was
Yo, everybody knocking my guy. That's my
Right,
guy.
no,
listen, I love him. He was just
Throw that
he,
in my
he-
little beard,
he was
you know what I'm saying?
intense. He was intense, right? So the second one here, same base, right? But it's spearmint, tea tree, and lang lang. And so I'm getting dudes to rock flowers on their face. Cause lang lang a flower. It's a white flower, real
I like
subtle,
this too.
real soft. So essentially, whether you got a beard or not, beard oil's for you because beard oil is not for beards. It's for your skin.
Right.
So like Lou, you could use it. You just gonna use less.
Right.
Dre might use it in, I'm a guess, because I can usually guess by a person's beard texture and length. You're going to be somewhere around 5 to 7 drops on your face.
Right.
And you're going to rub it on your face, but you will work it through your beard once you're done rubbing your face. Lou, you're going to be somewhere around 2 to 3. You're not going to go much above it because you're not trying to make your face shiny again. And this would replace a lotion or a cream or like a cocoa butter that'd be real heavy, and you got it on your face and your face feel heavy.
Right.
This don't make you feel like that. And then I also sell a butter, and that goes in the beard. That's actually for your hair. It's a leave-in conditioner. And I make it all myself.
You the man, bro.
Answer my question.
Just give me what's the plans for the future for Grizzled Teddy?
So, like I said, I want to talk on college campuses. And I'm not necessarily trying to talk about healthy masculinity in the sense that would mean I got to define it. Like if I say this is healthy and this ain't, like I'm the arbiter of all masculinity.
Absolutely.
And my pops used to do that, or your pops used to do that, or my mans who said only girls get their hair done used to do that. So I don't want to do that for people. Instead, I want to go on campus and have a conversation about, in the subtle, healthier masculinity.
Okay.
Because see, there's certain elements of your way of expressing yourself that can change, but I'm making you part of the process. I'm not coming and going, hey, yo, y'all need to start doing this and this and this. But instead, it's like, okay, what are some areas you want to improve about how you present yourself with your wife, with your kids, with on your campus, with your teammates? And do you really got to objectify women to feel good about yourself? That's what I might have said if I was in that locker room now, right? Do you really got to cheat on your girl to feel good about yourself? What you hiding? Why you can't be in a steady relationship? Like, let's have conversations, not because I'm judging, but because everybody can stand to be healthier. Everybody can make improvement.
Absolutely.
What's up?
No, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Well, and like speaking of this real fast too, as far as everybody makes improvement, 'cause I want to shout out what y'all do. I know you're trying to shout out me, but I'm trying to shout out y'all.
Absolutely.
Like the Fit for Fatherhood. Lou, you said I'm trying to make improvements.
Right.
It's like if we look on your channel, all summer you looked hot, you looked uncomfortable, but you was
Yes.
out there rocking the More Than a Dad merch too. So it'd be hot, and Lou had on a hoodie.
Absolutely.
He wasn't playing no games, but it's because you're trying to be there for your kids, not just now, but when they having their young boys. And when they having like Lou wants to be a great grandfather.
Right.
So you understand that you can be healthier. It's not that you're not healthy, but you can always stand to improve.
Yes.
Right. And so that's the same thing with your masculinity, not just with like working out, but like how do we exercise how we present ourselves? That's what I want to help cats with. So that's the future. I'm gonna be on campuses and they're gonna pay me and I'm not gonna have to sell beard oil. Like if I make it, it'll be because of a passion. It won't be the main revenue of the business. My voice will.
That's hard.
Absolutely. We appreciate you for coming.
Yeah,
for you coming. And before we get out of here, we just want to let y'all know that we have a partner with Donovan. He's going to be one of our sponsors, and we appreciate him for that.
Yeah, love to
So y'all
support
going to be hearing a lot more about the Grizzled Teddy Company. I'm put it right in y'all face. I can't miss it.
There you go.
We appreciate it, man. I'm happy that we finally got you on the show. You drove
Yeah.
all the
Yes,
way out
amazing.
here.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
I remember reaching out like after like y'all second episode and saying, "Yo, I can't wait to be on the show." And I thought I was going to be a dad first, so like I'm like, "Dang, man, we gotta hurry up and foster so I could be on More Than a Dad." Like we about to get a young boy just so I could be on the show.
Putting that pressure on your wife is insane.
No, I'm joking, but I love that we got to do this. I love that we got to have this
Yes.
conversation. I love that our brands can partner,
Absolutely.
and I look forward to coming back when I do got a young boy, because we have an episode, y'all just give me advice, because I ain't gonna know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna be guessing.
Nah, you got a good head on your shoulders. I think you.
Yeah, I trust you with the kids, man.
I had a kid
I appreciate
at
you.
19. Trust, I didn't know none
Yeah.
of the stuff you know. Life, I had nothing figured. Nothing.
Yeah.
13 years later, we survived.
Yeah, yeah, and your son still love you all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right, guys, man. You heard it here, man. You can learn from your pop, learn how to work hard. You can, create beard oil. You can take the Bible right into your adopted foster kids' room and lay them out. It's all here, man.
yeah.
Donovan, man, thank you so much.
Absolutely, fellas.
The relationship goes back to like 2008.
Yeah.
When he worked with the football team at IUP, and there's always been a lot of respect, man. And always thank you for supporting me, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all.
Until next time.
Stay
Until
well,
next
man.
time. Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram, as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful, and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad.
More than a that. More than a that.